What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and I knew it was only a matter of time before this happened, but the cleanup crew, the workers that traveled down or up to East Palestine, Ohio, to help clean up this toxic waste and to help clean up the site of this train derailment, well, now they are falling ill. They are getting sick. They are reporting weird symptoms. And I mean, come on. How did they not see this coming? It's common sense. I mean, if people who live 30 minutes away are getting rashes and are having trouble breathing, then what makes you think that you're going to be safe right there at ground zero, right there at the site where all of these chemicals spilled out? You got people in Pennsylvania, in a whole nother state, getting sick. What makes you think that you're going to be okay? You think just because you don't live there and you work for some big company that you're invulnerable? That these chemicals can't get to you somehow? I mean, seriously? Sometimes I just want to grab people firmly by the shoulder and I just want to shake some sense into them. Because how did you not see this coming? How did you not see this coming? And I think this is a perfect example of another problem that we're facing in society as a whole. Some people, they're like worker ants, if you will. They get orders from their boss or orders from the government, and they just comply and follow. Not a single critical thought in their head. Not a single question arises. They get orders, they get their talking point, and they march in step. And those type of people are really dangerous, okay? Because hell, if the government says, hey, here's a gun, go shoot those people, go hurt those people, they probably will. I mean, when it's all said and done with, the powers that be, they're going to need someone to protect them. They're going to need someone to assert their weird agendas and stuff upon us. Who are they going to use? They're going to use these brain dead people who can't think critically. They just follow whatever orders they're given. Now, mind you, I know a lot of these people out there working at this cleanup site. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying they're stupid. I know that a lot of them are just out there trying to make a living. They're trying to put food on the table. But at the same time, I mean, common sense has to come in. And my issue was, because I've been paying attention to this closely, and I'm watching this process, and it's so utterly bizarre to me that they'll have people, right? And I guess these are the lower workers. These are the grunts. These are the peasants in their eyes, if you will. They'll have these workers and they'll throw them out there in the middle of this chemical spill site, right? And they'll throw them out there in nothing but a hard hat and a reflective vest, okay? And you see all of these people in the hard hats and reflective vests. They're out there cleaning up. And then you see other agencies come in to maybe test the water, test the air, to test the chemicals. And these people are putting on full hazmat suits, right? You got people out there in full hazmat gear, right? I mean, they got the suits on, they got the gas mask, everything, like something straight out of a movie. Meanwhile, these people in these hazmat suits and gas masks, guess where they're going? They're going to the same exact work sites where these other people are at working in nothing but a hard hat and reflective vest. Now, listen, if I'm at a job site and all y'all give me is a vest and a hard hat, and then I see other people coming in to the same site wearing hazmat suits, I'm going to have some questions. Because what in the hell is going on here? Why don't I have a gas mask? Why don't I have a hazmat suit? And if you think that this is necessary, or you think this is a necessary precaution for these people, then why is it not a necessary precaution for us? But that's what's happening here. I've seen it happen over a dozen times. We have these hazmat crews coming into this area, walking directly past the people in the hard hats and the reflective vest. And I'm wondering, like, do y'all not put two and two together and realize, wait, we definitely don't have the right protective gear on? And I don't know what it is. Maybe, the people who they're putting in hazmat suits, they're probably the people who make more money. They're probably the people who actually know about these chemicals and stuff. They're the experts, if you will, and they value them more than they value the grunts workers who are scooping up piles of dirt and throwing it in a truck. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening here. You can see a clear as day, what can I call it? A difference, at the very least, a difference in how these workers are being treated and how they're being protected. And like I said, it's at the same job site. You'll have 30 people out there in reflective vests and hard hats, scooping up dirt, walking around, picking up trash. Then you'll have the hazmat suit people coming to the same area, which should show you, hey, this area is not safe. But I want to go ahead and hop into this article so we can get a better understanding of what is happening here. Cleanup workers at East Palestine toxic train derailment site are falling sick with migraines and nausea and other symptoms. Workers aiding in the cleanup of toxic materials at a train derailment site in Ohio are falling ill with migraines and nausea and other weird symptoms, as leaders of the nation's largest rail unions are starting to reveal the truth. The revelation came in the form of a letter from labor leaders to the White House and Ohio's governor on Wednesday that claimed workers may have been willingly exposed to harmful chemicals at the direction of Norfolk Southern, the company that owns the derailed freighter. Meanwhile, Norfolk Southern continues to face scrutiny over the incident. The company's CEO, Alan Shaw, is poised to testify before the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee next week amid calls for renewed rail safety regulations. His company has publicly promised to clean up an estimated 30,000 truckloads of toxic waste wrought by the wreck, while vowing to invest in East Palestine for the long term. However, workers do not believe this to be the case, according to Jonathan Long of the Maintenance of Way Employees Division of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. In a letter addressed to both Buttigieg and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine directly, he said that several have accused the company of cost-cutting the cleaning effort at workers' expense. The union boss further revealed that of the 40 rail workers sent to the cleanup site in East Palestine last month, several have already began exhibiting the aforementioned symptoms, which are sometimes associated with chemical poisoning. He added that his team has received multiple reports that workers are not being provided the proper personal protection equipment to help clean the wreckage, nor are they being given the necessary respirators, eye protection, or protective gear. I received reports that Norfolk Southern neither offered nor provided these workers with appropriate personal protective equipment, such as respirators that are designed to permit safely working around vinyl chloride, eye protection and protective clothing, such as chemical restraint suits, rubber overboots, and rubber gloves rated for safely working around the spilled chemicals. Long wrote. When some of the Norfolk Southern workers inquired about the appropriateness of their personal protective equipment and the safety of their working conditions, they would receive little or no response from Norfolk Southern officials. Long went on to reveal that one worker even approached him personally after experiencing nausea and severe headaches during the cleanup effort, which has already been about 1.8 million gallons of liquid waste and around 70 tons of solid waste hauled from the site. Long wrote that the worker came to him after he called his supervisor and requested to be transported off the derailment site due to concerns of his safety caused by the exposure to the chemicals, which were causing him nausea and migraines. Long revealed that the supervisor stated he would get back to the employee, but he never did. The employee was left on the job site. Many other employees reported that they continued to experience migraines and nausea days after the derailment, and they all suspect that they were willingly exposed to these chemicals at the direction of Norfolk Southern. The lack of concern for the workers' safety and well-being is, again, a basic tenet of Norfolk Southern's cost-cutting business model. Long revealed that over the past month, while still receiving numerous complaints from the workers aiding in the cleanup, that he has been in negotiations with Norfolk Southern over paid sick leave. But those negotiations have been going nowhere. He said in his letter that Norfolk Southern had agreed to pick up the paid sick leave for the workers, but only if the union would withdraw a letter in opposition to an experimental automated track inspection program and issue a letter in support. So basically what's happening here is they're like, hey, you want paid sick leave? Well, you got to follow up with some of the things that we want you to do. You scratch our back, we scratch your back. Meanwhile, the workers out here working this site, they're falling ill, they're complaining about it. Their complaints are falling on deaf ears, and they're totally being ignored. Like, we don't care. Get out there and do your job. But like I was saying earlier on in this video, it's been blatantly clear to me from looking at the situation, seeing all of these videos, watching some of this cleanup process, it's blatantly obvious that these workers have not been given the proper materials to make sure that they are safe while out there doing this job. I mean, they've been given nothing, like what I said earlier in this video. The majority of them have been given hard hats and a reflective vest. That's it. That is it. And I don't understand why they think that they would be okay when the residents of this town are not okay. Meanwhile, mind you, a lot of the residents in this town, they aren't even being as closely exposed to this toxic waste as the workers who are at ground zero, right on top of this stuff every single day. And they're out there with no mask, no gas mask, no rubber gloves, no rubber boots, no hazmat suits, no specialty clothing, nothing. I mean, you would think that these are just your average construction workers out there. So, I mean, it's common sense. Common sense will tell you that these people are going to get sick. And this goes to show, or this proves the point that I was making in past videos, that this situation is going to affect tons and tons of people, not just the people of this community. I can guarantee you that a lot of the workers out there, they're not from East Palestine. Most of them probably aren't even from Ohio. They're probably from various places in America, and now they're going to take their sickness that they got from these chemicals, and I'm not saying it's contagious, but they're going to go back home. And now we're going to have people scattered across America who have all been affected by this train derailment. Who knows? You may be in another state 10 years from now. You get sick and you wonder why. And then you remember, oh yeah, I did go to that cleanup site for a couple of days. Maybe that's the issue. So, I mean, there's no telling. It's almost mind-blowing the effects that this train derailment has had and will continue to have. And I don't want to sound pessimistic, but we haven't seen the worst of it yet. We have not seen the worst of it yet. Yeah, we've seen the dead fish. Yeah, we're starting to see dead deer. We're starting to see these animals drop dead, but wait until the humans. Wait until these chemicals catch up to the humans, okay? A lot of these chemicals, they're not going to make you just drop right there on site. But over time, man, it builds up. And it's sad. It is so sad thinking about this situation. And it's frustrating knowing that not only are these people in this town, their lives are going to be affected forever, right? Because of the situation. But now, these workers who have been hired to come out there and do this job, now their lives are going to be affected. And a lot of them, like I said, they get orders, they go. They don't even think about it. And then they're shoveling some dirt and they're coughing up phlegm with this headache and they're wondering why. And they're like, oh yeah, I am shoveling toxic dirt. Maybe that's the cause. So we have this town affected, and now we have this train company hiring other people to come in, and they're not getting the proper safety equipment. So now they're affected. So it's like, oh, like you've managed to make this situation even worse. You know what I mean? Like you managed to make the situation even worse. You managed to allow these chemicals to affect even more people who didn't even live in this area to begin with. But there's also a lot of other stuff happening that I'm looking into right now. Forgive me this morning. I am almost overwhelmed by it all. And you know, I'm following and I'm going down certain rabbit holes, and it runs deep, ladies and gentlemen. It runs deep. We have not heard or seen the end of this. And I can tell you right now, from the stuff that I'm looking into, I don't feel comfortable reporting on a lot of it yet. I need to fact check and confirm some things, but it's going to get weirder and it's going to get crazier in the days to come. I can tell you that right now. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.